This is a great example of why you should be preparing. This is a great example of why you should not be using any excuses to prepare for yourselves. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. First, let me start off by saying thank you for the community member that sent me this article, and by saying, ladies and gentlemen, if you depend on a food bank or if you depend on government assistance for you to get your food, start thinking outside the box. Start thinking of what can you do in order to earn more revenue so that you can go out there and prep for yourselves. Not saying that there's something wrong with you needing help, but start thinking outside the box. What can you do in order to prep up? Because food banks will run out of food eventually. Then where will you go? Who will you depend on? A lot of people say that they are poor, and I like to counter that by saying there is a difference between being poor and there is a difference between being broke. Being poor is a state of mind, and being broke is a condition. If you are broke, it means that you have a condition in which you don't have a lot of money. However, there is a solution for that. You can go out there and get a side hustle, do whatever you have to do for a certain period of time so that you can build up enough revenue so that you can prep up, ladies and gentlemen. And to those of you that I'm talking to that are in this situation, I'm not telling you to go out and buy freeze-dried food. I'm telling you that I think you should go out there and prep up for as cheap as possible. Rice, beans, pasta, spaghetti sauce, canned meats that you can afford. Things that will keep you sustained for a period of time. Because as I've said before, food banks will eventually run out of food. I did a video about this a while back where I said that eventually food banks will run out of food. And here we are. Naples, nonprofit known for keeping hunger out of Southwest Florida, is now running out of food. They say that when the health crisis started in early 2020, the demand for food went sky high. And here, Lorna McLean, the director of the food distribution for St. Matthew's House in Naples, Florida, said that their organization went from helping, listen to this, just under 2,000 families per month to 20,000 families per month. That is a tenfold increase in the amount of food that they were handing out before this health crisis started to after. And I believe they're handing out even more now. The demand has not eased up, she said. In August and September, they were really back to high numbers, and they expected to keep growing. It's about 19 to 20,000 families per month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just think about that. That is a stadium full. If you figure that one family has on average 3.5 to 4 people per family, right, on average, and you multiply that times 20,000, that is 80,000 mouths that they're feeding in 1 month. And they are running out of food. What are those 80,000 people going to do? You know, I watch videos sometimes about people in third world countries that they help their community. They go around and they see someone that's in need, and they see someone that needs food, and they go and they buy them food. And I really like watching those videos because it gives me faith in humanity. But can you imagine 20,000 families? Can you imagine 70 to 80,000 people? Man, ladies and gentlemen, what are those people going to do when they cannot get food from the source that they were used to getting food from? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to have to do what they have to do. So if a lion in the Sahara is used to going to a pond to get water, and all of a sudden that lion goes back to that pond, and that pond is dry, there's no water, what does that lion do? It has two choices. It can either die of thirst, or it can go find another pond that has water in it, or another water source. But in order for that lion to do that, it's going to have to do some work. It's going to have to actually go and seek that source out. What I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, is that nothing is impossible. If you find yourself in a predicament where you need food, and you know that you're going to need food in the future, and trust me, we are all going to need food in the future. We are all going to be needing to be stocked up with food in the future. If you see that backdrop back there, that's actually what I'm going to be talking about here this Friday during our live stream at 2 p.m. Alaska time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right, I'm actually going to do a live stream payday prep because I found some awesome deals. And that's one of the things that you can do. Search for deals. Don't just spend money because you have money, but keep some money aside. That way, once you run into a good deal, you can capitalize off of that good deal and use it to prep with. Ladies and gentlemen, if you consider yourself poor, you will be in a state of mind that no one can help you. But if you consider yourself broke, then good news, because there's something that you can do about that. Go find a side hustle. Do whatever it is that you need to do now in order to prepare for the future. Delayed gratification is something that we have to learn over time. However, ladies and gentlemen, there is no time left to learn the art of delayed gratification. There is no time left. You need to do it now. You need to go out and pick up bottles. I know that in some states, you can pick up a bottle or a can and you can get 10 cents on it for a deposit. That's 10 cents a can. Go for a walk. If you don't have a source of income so that you can use to prepare, go for a walk. Pick up some cans. Go drive a Dash car or whatever it is. Dash, Uber, whatever it is. I know my driver is a taxi driver, and he makes pretty darn good money riding around in a taxi all day giving people lifts for money. He makes pretty good money doing that. Go do something, ladies and gentlemen, because people are going to suffer. When food banks run out of food, not only are people going to suffer, but those people that are in need, they're going to start doing things that they normally would not have done in the past in order to make sure that their children are fed. They continue to say here, up until recently, St. Matthew's House was largely able to keep up with that demand, but they have had help. St. Matthew's House received around $800,000 in CARES Act funding over the last year to help them fund their food pantry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's another problem. When you rely on government to provide for you, government will eventually let you down. Government does not give you anything that government earned. Government can only take from someone else to give to someone else. So when government runs out of the ability to take from someone else, guess what? If you rely on government, they're not going to be able to provide for you eventually. Now, I'm not here to judge. That's the last thing that I'm here to do. But what I'm here to do is to help you understand that you are on your own. We, ladies and gentlemen, are on our own. If we can't understand that right now, then we will suffer the consequences later on. She continues to say that it was amazing receiving all that stimulus, and that from April up until now, they were able to feed about 225,000 families. Think about that. That's about 1 million people, about 1 million people that they were able to feed between April till now. But now the money's run out, ladies and gentlemen. And she says here, but now the CARES Act money has been cut off. Their food supply is drying up with it. Right now, all you see is empty crates. If you come to our warehouse, you'll see our pantry, which we have a walk-in pantry. It is very empty. So they have no choice to transition back to operating off of donations. And in my humble opinion, that's how it should be done. It should be off of donations from people that want to give from their heart and not from government. Because like I said, government can only give to someone something they've taken from another. But with so many people constantly lined up for food, they need help. We are counting on the community to help us, she said. We're counting on the community to help the families that are in need. This is a great example of why you should be preparing. This is a great example of why you should not be using any excuses to prepare for yourselves. If you can't see what is coming with your own eyes, then you really need to wake up. You really need to look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself and give yourself some hard truths And that is what I'm doing here, is letting you know that no one is coming to your rescue. If you cannot rely on yourself for the future, no one is coming to your rescue, and you will suffer. So instead of going to the theater and spending $100 on 2 tickets and $50 popcorn, instead of doing that, maybe take $10 or $15 and go get yourself a Redbox movie with some of the cheap popcorn that you buy in the bag, and then take the other $80 and buy yourselves a couple 100 pounds of rice, or 100 pounds of rice and 50 pounds of beans, and put it away for the future. It is an insurance policy. It is an insurance policy, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to need in our future. I'm not talking about in 20 years, in 15 years, in 10 years. I'm talking about in the near future. And guess what? If you don't need it, that is great. You'll still be able to use it, and it won't go to waste. Man, I really hope that you are prepping, ladies and gentlemen. I know that most of the community members here in the AP community are of the preparedness mindset. But I always say that I do these videos in hopes of maybe waking up one more person that is not considered prepping, and that maybe through this video and the other videos that I put out, that maybe they will. Because that's one more person that will be saved from the suffering that a lot of people are going to face. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I truly do hope that you get prepared. And I truly do hope that you can see with your own eyes what's going on around us. This one food bank that's running out of food, that's just one. That's just one food bank that's running out of food. Let me go back. I know this video is probably going on too long, but let me go back to what I was talking about when I see videos every now and then when someone is helping someone else in a third world country. A lot of these third world countries, ladies and gentlemen, their governments don't help their people at all. And if their people don't go out there and do whatever it takes for them to be able to eat, they don't eat. That's why you see kids in the streets selling stuff, selling stuff for pennies, so that they can get all those pennies together and maybe be able to buy a meal for the evening for their family. That is what's going to happen here eventually. Unfortunately, that is what's going to happen here in these United States of America. Because as I've said before, we've been sold out. We have been sold out, and we better learn how to take care of ourselves, because no one else is going to do it. Ask yourself, if you run out of food, do you think that the family down the road is going to bail you out when they have kids to feed? I do preps that are charity based, meaning that when the balloon pops, I plan on helping people, but I plan on having them work for their food, because he who does not work shall not eat. And I've made all of these sacrifices for all of these years to make sure that my family is well taken care of, and they will be taken care of. And I will help those that I can. But my family comes first. Family, church, community, then state. If you've gone through all of those sources before you really need help, then go ahead and accept help from the federal government. But just know that if you become reliant on the help that the federal government provides you, that one day the federal government will take that away from you as soon as you don't comply with whatever it is that they're asking you to do.